Water Sector Program, Project 1,
I need a-
St. Martin Industrial Park Plant Upgrades Project by Touye Services, LLC.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Millison, second by Mr. Louviere. Call for the vote.
Summary number 061RS, a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute change order number 1 in the amount of $51,396.82 increase for the St. Martin Consolidated Waterworks District Number 4, Water Sector Program Project 2, Water Distribution System Improvements Project by Preferred Mechanical, LLC.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Louviere, seconded by Mr. Poirier. Call for the vote.
Summary number 062RS, a resolution awarding the contract for the St. Martinville Jail Roof Replacement Project to the lowest responsive base bidder, Morecore Roofing, LLC, in the amount of $290,000.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Millison, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote.
Ordinance is introduced for publication. Summary number 1549OR, an ordinance to amend Chapter 19, St. Martin Parish zoning ordinance, adopted December 18th, 1995, Appendix A, Schedule of Zoning District Regulations, Zoning District W2, Woodland Floodplain Recreational Residential Uses. Summary number 1550OR, an ordinance reducing the extent of the servitude rights of St. Martin Parish government from 100 feet to 40 feet on the western side of that certain drainage channel designated as L-1G-2 on a portion of parcel number 18200000661, that portion commencing on the southwesternmost portion of the parcel for 200 feet in a northeastern direction, and repealing ordinance number 26-06-1547 OR. Summary number 1551 OR, an ordinance reducing the extent of the servitude rights of St. Martin Parish government from 100 feet to 47 feet on the northern side of the drainage channel designated as L-34D-6, which borders parcel number 08102A2066.
I need a motion and a second to adjourn. I have a motion by Mr. Louviere, seconded by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote. Meeting adjourned.
Let me double check the recording real quick. Okay. If you can give me 2 minutes.
It's 4:27.
You can start if you want. I worded it to where
It's
we can
immediately
start
after.
immediately.
We can start early. We did it at the end.
The St. Martin Parish Council Public Work Administrative Finance Joint Committee meeting of Tuesday, June 16, 2026 at 4:29 is called to order. Roll call, everyone's present.
Item 1, St. Martin Parish Animal Services Coordinator Andrea Meir to give a presentation on the St. Martin Parish Animal Shelter operations.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Pinky. Everybody knows me as Pinky. I run the shelter. Just wanted to give you an overview of what we've done so far this year as far as how many we've gotten in, just to go over the numbers with you. They're on the sheets that they're passing around. So far this year, we've taken in 280 dogs, 256 cats, which is a total of 536 animals. We're actually down about 25 from last year at this time, but we're at the very beginning of kitten season, so those numbers are going to drastically go up. We get kittens in almost every day, and unlike when you get in one dog, it's one dog. When you get in a litter of kittens, it's 4 to 6. So if you get 3 or 4 litters a day, it's quite a few animals coming in all at once. Our outcome for this year so far, we've had 108 get adopted. We transported out 136. We had 43 return to owner, which is a blessing. Our trap neuter release program for cats, we've done 22 so far this year, so that's 22 feral cats that will not be reproducing unwanted litters. We've euthanized 128. The majority of those are due to space. We just don't have the kennel space for the amount coming in. There were quite a few aggressives in that number. I think we're on 21 for the year. That's animals that we can't touch, whether it be a dog or a cat. We do not risk getting bit or injured. We all love animals, but it's just not worth us taking a chance. And because we have to euthanize for space, if there's an aggressive one, that's always the first one that we pick. And we don't put out an aggressive back into the community. It's just, if we don't trust it, we don't trust it out in the community. And we had 12 die so far. Those are tiny kittens that people find in the yard and think, oh, I gotta save them, and their heart's in the right place, and they think they're doing the right thing because they don't see mom, because mom's out hunting or you scared her off, and they bring them in and they're just too little to survive. So that's the majority of what the ones that die. We had a lot of improvements done this year that we were very happy about. I had a lady come today, look at cats, and she commented on how nice, she said, you guys have a really nice facility. So I take that as a huge compliment. Improvements that we had scheduled, we completed the ramp for the cat house. We got the play yard cemented in the back and on the side with covers. So now they're not in the sun, they're not jumping in the mud and splashing, and we can disinfect now, so that's a huge improvement. We did complete the cover over the wash bay, so we're not washing dishes and litter pans in the rain. So thank you guys, and it's a lot cooler. They completed today all the kennel house doors. So we now have brand new kennel house doors. All of them can be locked. Looks great. We just need to paint them to match the building, and we're good on that. They did get us a nice 4-compartment sink. So now when we do dishes, disease can spread rapidly in a shelter environment. So we needed something where we could literally completely submerge our bowls and litter pans to disinfect all over. So now we have a sink where we can submerge litter pans, bowls, wash, and rinse. No more trash cans and, little containers here and there. So, and it looks really, really nice. They insulated our food container. The old little building that we removed had an air conditioner in it, so we utilized that air conditioner and put it in the blue container that we keep all of our food in. So that is now climate controlled, so that the food isn't like an oven in the summer, which can't possibly be healthy. So that was a tremendous help. The incinerator got installed. They came today for the gas. I think that's well on its way. We added a faucet right outside of our new cat building, so we have water right there. And that's pretty much, I think, everything that we've gotten done that was on the list. There's a few other things that we're gonna get to, if not this year, next year. We need to fix some broken kennels on fence line and things like that, but for the most part, that was all taken care of. Dr. Audrey and Dr. Megan. Dr. Audrey used to be in Brobridge, and Dr. Megan's here at Country Place. They're coming on under contract for us, so we'll have multiple options for vets. That's important because the quicker I can get them fixed, the quicker I can put them up for adoption, and the quicker they can leave, which saves us money. And that's what we want to do. And it keeps them healthier. So we really want to focus on the TNR program for feral cats, because the majority of our cats or kittens are coming from those feral cats. Because people can catch the kittens. They can't catch the mom, but they can catch the kittens, and then they come to us. TNR is trap, neuter, release. You trap them in the live animal trap. We want to be able to advertise once or twice a month, a spay-neuter day, where people can trap and trap those animals that are in their area. They want them back for mousers and kill snakes and such. We will spay and neuter them at no charge to them, tip their ear so you know it's fixed. If you ever see a cat with a tipped ear, that means it's fixed. It's living out its life, not reproducing. And we'll give rabies if they're old enough. This is very important in trying to keep the numbers of cats in the community down. So with Dr. Megan and Dr. Audrey coming, we want to be able to advertise at least once a month where people can trap them and bring them in. And I think that's going to help reduce the numbers that come into the shelter. CareVet of Bayou Teche participated earlier in the year in a contest. They're corporate owned, so it was a corporate contest, and it was called Fill the Bowl. And they asked their clients to donate food for us. Well, they won first place. Their clients really came through big, and they won first place. They were awarded a $5,000 donation that they gave to us. We're not able to use it this year because it wasn't in the budget. I'm told that it's going to be put in next year's budget. But that was pretty nice to receive that kind of money. They wanted to know what we did with the money. Unfortunately, I won't be able to let them know anything until it's in the actual budget. I guess they wanted pictures, and we wanted me to let them know so they could let their clients know this is what you did for the community. So hopefully we can provide that for them. But that's pretty much a rundown on everything that's going on at the shelter. It's looking really, really good. And that's about all I have. Did anybody have any questions?
Mr. Melisson?
You say y'all got a $5,000 donation?
Yes, the CareVet of Bayou Teche gave us a $5,000 donation directly to the shelter.
So, pardon my ignorance here, but why, it's a donation, why do you have to wait for a budget to spend it?
That would be Sean to answer. That's what I was told.
Huh?
It's still revenue, and it's unbudgeted.
A donation?
Yes. And what I said, well, once we receive any money, it becomes public money. Once we take it in, it becomes public money. So, in order to spend it, what I said was we would need to budget it. Not necessarily wait until next year, but we would have to come to the council and would have to be budgeted to be spent.
So we'd have to do a budget amendment to the budget we have now? So I guess, Ms. Muir, the thing would be is figure out where you'd want to spend the 5,000 and what you want to use it for. And maybe get with Sean, then we could do a little amendment just to amend the budget to spend it to where Ms. Muir would feel that it would be best needed. We could do that.
So the cemented areas that we added for the play yards, we're short kennels. We had some kennels there, but we are short on some. So I would like to use that money to purchase additional kennels. We need to complete the entire project. We need 12 more 10 by 5 kennels and 5 more door panels. and that will complete all of them. That comes to a total of $6,149.82. We do have a doctor in New Iberia, Dr. Sanak, he's an orthopedic surgeon, who said he wants to make a donation to the shelter. I sent him that full amount. He's one of our staff members' doctors. He spoke to her again. He said, I'm not sure how much I want to donate, but I am going to donate. So I was kind of waiting to see what he was going to donate because I don't want to order more kennels than I need. That's pointless. But that's where we would like to spend the money, is to get, that way it's complete.
The kennels you had set up that were on the dirt, those kennels are on cement now?
Yes.
So those have been already utilized, those have been.
Yes, and that's what we want, the same ones. They're the retriever kennels we get at Tractor Supply. They're 5x10s. You can expand them with an expansion panel and make a 10x10 if you want, which we have some 10x10s for the bigger dogs or multiple dogs. But the 5x10 gives them a little more room than their normal kennel. We can put a ball in there or toys, and they actually have a little room to move around while they're cleaning their kennel.
I'm not sure about the logistics of how that money works, but if in the future they were able to go ahead and purchase the equipment and donate it, that would alleviate us having to come back to the council and budget that money.
And that's what I mentioned to them, that when people ask, I want to give you money, I'm going to be straight up and honest. I tell them I will never see that money. If you want to know that your money comes to the shelter, buy an item. Dog food, supplies, toys, treats, things, cleaning supplies. If you want to know that it stays, do that. Because we're funded through the health unit fund. So any money that comes goes to that.
So, Ms. Mayor, the $5,000 check, you've already received that $5,000 check?
It went to
That
me.
we'll have to do by amendment, but if this other guy, the doctor that wants to do it, if he wants to purchase kennels, he could do it that way. That would alleviate some of the, having to go through the process, but I don't think it's a big issue to come back in front of the council and do an amendment.
I was really hoping that he would go for the full 6,000, you know. They say that's a drop in the bucket for an orthopedic surgeon, but,
Yeah,
you know,
Wait to see what he says.
right.
yeah.
And if he's giving 2,000, then we can add that to that and make the, a budget amendment to be able to allow her to purchase all that she needs, so it would cover the whole amount. So we can wait a couple
wait.
of weeks until you kind of
If
get a
he is
answer
gonna
back.
give cash, it would be best till we find out the total amount that he's gonna give, so we can.
Well, if he donates, he's gonna actually go to Tractor Supply, buy them, and have them shipped to the shelter.
Okay.
So he's not gonna give money.
Right.
But once I know how many he's gonna give, then I'll know what's left. I was hoping he would give all of them. But, you know, they ask for more, and they can always give less.
Right. I know when we visited the shelter last year, we had trouble with some of the doors, the bottoms are rotten out.
That's all changed.
That's all been replaced,
They
the locks
finished-
and
they
everything.
came yesterday, they
That's all done.
finished today. All of them have been changed, yes.
So anything on the list that we had for last year that wasn't able to get this year?
Um,
Or did we take care of just about everything that we had?
Almost everything. We have some kennels that definitely need to be repaired. We had to move a dog today because his head was sticking out the kennel. They need to be refastened, and the bars need to be put back. We wanted bigger heaters in kennels for when it gets really cold. We have 2 small heaters. Seal the kennel house floor, paint the kennel house inside, give it a fresh paint. And a slide-up door on breezeway so that we can close it in the wintertime when it's really cold. But everything else was done.
Okay, I was just wondering, because I know we're getting ready to start on budget pretty soon, so just to see what we had. I know we put an extra money last year to get.
Raymond will probably have a list of where we're at.
Had a master list. We have financially what we completed, and then we have a punch list on what we don't that I can share.
Okay.
But we
I
got
know-
a lot.
I know we had issues with that floor inside the shelter too. You remember, it was flaking, it was peeling
Yeah.
up and stuff?
Yeah.
Was that addressed? Not yet?
Not yet. It just needs to be resealed.
Okay. Mr. Alexander?
Two questions for you. The first one is, who determines when an animal needs to be euthanized, and who does the euthanizing?
Unfortunately, me.
Oh, it's you that does
I
that?
make the ultimate decision, but we do get with staff and discuss because I'm not with the animals. The staff are the ones that interact with them. So I always turn to them to see, you know, is anybody showing aggression? Is anybody being nippy with the food or things like that? So we kind of come together as a team, but I make the ultimate decision. And myself and Byron Craychant are certified to do the euthanasias.
Okay, so the second question is, do your house any other animal besides ducks and cats?
No,
Well, okay, let's say the sheriff department picks up a horse, goat, or pigs from the, where do they bring them?
they used to come to the shelter, but as far as I know, we're only equipped to do dog and cat. It's hard for us to take in a horse and house it. I don't know if Pete wants to comment on.
Yeah, by taking in animals that we are not equipped to take in, we're putting not only the animal in danger, but we're putting our employees in danger because we do not have the necessary facility to take care of this animal until, and what do we do with it? Where do we go with it? What is it, our normal course of business is stray dogs and cats. And that's what we specialize in. That's what we do. That's what we're equipped to do. We took in a snake a while back. What do we do with a snake? I just feel that we're putting our employees into an undue stress and putting them into a position that I don't feel is viable. And then we start to have liability issues and insurance issues. So, we are a dog and cat facility, and as we specialize in that, that's the direction we're gonna go.
So where do, like I said, if, let's say it's a loose horse or donkey or goats, or pigs, cows, where you put them?
Where do we put them? We can make arrangements to have them brought to a livestock facility, or who puts them down? I mean, do we call in a vet to put the animal down? I mean, we're going into uncharted territory that we're just not equipped to do. If we're gonna go in that direction, I think we need to, with some forethought, make sure that whatever we're doing it completely, we're doing it legally, we're not putting our employees into any
I
stress
understand now you
situation.
said you're probably bring to a livestock facility, like Dominic Stockyard.
Stockyard or something that can take care of these animals,
But I understand now, that's what I needed to know.
yeah. And it doesn't happen that often, Mr.
Rarely.
Vincent, so, that being said.
I've been there 4 years, and I think I've gotten in 2 goats and maybe 4 horses and a donkey. It's rare. The sheriff's department is usually great at finding who they belong to.
So, yeah, because you can't take a horse and bring him to Dominic Stockyards. He's got to have a clear cognizance to get on the premises over there. And if he doesn't have a cognizance, they won't accept him. So I had an issue, but a few months back in my district where there was a stud horse that got loose, and we had to get the sheriff's department to pick him up. And I was under the impression they had brought him to the shelter because I know we used to house horses there.
They may have. That may be one.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I know you can't take a horse and bring him to
Question
Dominic's.
would be then, what would we do with a stud horse?
Put him in a pasture. I mean, I don't know, are we, I'm just asking for conversation. Are we
Just, like you
mandated
said,
to have
my
to
first
have?
Priority would be to the safety of the employees, and I don't think bringing in animals such as that, I think we're putting them into a position that I don't feel safe.
But what does the law say? Does the law say that we have to take them, or I'm asking for, because it's happened before. We've had horses that were loose, especially right now with price of horses is almost nothing. And the saleborn won't take most of them anymore. So I know like around my house, they were turning them loose for a while, just putting them under the levee and turning them loose. And I know there was an issue at one of the horse farms where there was a horse that showed up over there and got in there with some high-dollar mares, so they called the sheriff department. And Mr. Albert Nelson went, he caught the horse, and I thought he had brought it to the animal shelter. This was about 3 months ago. So I was unaware. I was just wondering, by law, do we have to take the horses, or because as an animal shelter, does it specify only dog and cats, or do we? Because it's an issue with the horses right now. It's getting worse and worse as it goes.
Well, we can look,
I know, a couple of times with the sheriff, and I don't want to speak for the sheriff department. I know they've come and picked up the animals, and they've placed them, whether Mr. Nelson placed them somewhere, but they've gone somewhere other than the animal shelter. Because when we've had them loose right here on 31, they came and got them, but I know they didn't go to the animal shelter. So we can follow up with the sheriff department to see what they do with them, because they're the one that usually come. Alligators, horses, dogs, I mean, they've come and pick them up and bring them to the appropriate places.
I know it was the issue with the horses a while back. They were just turning them loose all over the place.
Well,
So the alligator we can cook.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Alexander?
yeah, Mr. Delcom, I know Dominic Stockyard will not take them unless they get like a permit from a vet saying that they're not infected with a disease or something.
Right, that's the
Clear
Coggins,
Coggins.
Huh?
the Coggins test.
Exactly. So I was just wondering where you would take them, so.
Yeah. And in the past, when we did get in horses, they did have to get a rabies, they did have to get checked out by the vet, they did have to get the
Exactly, right.
Coggins test. If they needed their hooves trimmed, because sometimes they come in bad shape, all of that has to be done before we can put them up for adoption. Similar to dog.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Jennifer Tyler, Section 8 Housing Coordinator, to give a presentation on Section 8 housing operations.
Ms. Tyler?
Good afternoon. I would like to thank Mr. Pete Delcom, Mr. Raymond, and the council members for having Section 8 here today, because I know you're interested in what we do here with Section 8. Basically, my name is Jennifer Tyler, I'm the coordinator, and I have Ms. Sylvia Narcisse, that is my assistant, that is here today. I want to begin by saying, due to the cost of living, the raising cost of living, it is crucial now that we try to help the citizens of St. Martin Parish. And that is basically what we are trying to do. HUD has made some changes. They have decreased the funding from 100% to 88%. Okay, so when we were getting about $100,000 to pay our landlord, we're now getting about 88,000. Okay, to pay our landlord. So that has made a big change in the Section 8 program. Also, the landlords are asking for rent increase right now because everything is so expensive. It's expensive for them to fix their unit, to repair the unit. So we're trying to accommodate the landlords as well, and that's what we're doing. Also, we are training a lot right now because there's a new hopper rule. And when I say all this, I know that I wanted to make sure that you understood exactly what we have to go through at the Section 8 office because we have to follow all these rules and guidelines, okay? The hopper rule is the new rule that came out for income for our tenants because they're changing now all of the rules for the income for the tenants. So we have to make sure that if HUD comes in, that our office knows exactly how to calculate their income. If it's calculated incorrectly, we will be fined. Okay, so we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So this is for the the hopper rule, and this is for the Inspire. We have new training for the Inspire that Ms. Sylvia and myself have been taking and getting certified for. And Inspire is the new inspection rules that they have. We have new rules now that we used to just go in the house. We used to look at the water, make sure it is hot, cold water, make sure that that they have smoke detectors, fire extinguisher. Now with the new Inspire rules, it's totally different. We have to look at different things. The list is totally big. And that's exactly what we have been doing. And if anyone needs a copy of the new Inspire rules, I have that also. Yes, ma'am. I'll make sure you get one. And that is the new Inspire rules that we have to follow and the guidelines. Again, everything that we do, we have to make sure that we follow the HUD rules. If we don't follow those HUD rules, we will be penalized. And that's something we don't want to happen. Okay? So, and also fair housing. We have to get certified in fair housing. You have to know how to handle every situation. So we have the fair housing here. And if anybody needs copies of this or needs me to explain it to them, I'll be more than happy to do that. But it's very easy for me to stand here and say, oh, well, there's rules and regulations. But if you don't see these big, thick books, you'll say, oh, what rules and regulation? This is very serious for us. Okay, but on a positive note for the Section 8 department, okay, St. Martin Parish Housing is currently still taking application, even though our funding has been reduced. We're still taking applications. We're still housing people, families to our program. We also have pamphlets now in our office for the veterans. We also have the 800 numbers where we can help the veterans apply for helping, for assistance. So we have that in our office now. We still do our initial inspections. We do our monthly inspections. We do our annual inspection according to the new Inspire rules. Okay? One of the other things I would like to show you, and I want to make sure that you see all of this. This is our administrative plan. Anybody want to look at the administrative plan? They're more than welcome to stop by our office and look at the administrative plan. This is, again, if HUD comes in our office, they want to see that administrative plan and they want to make sure it's approved. Our administrative plan has been approved by HUD, and the administrative plan has to be approved once a year. So this is done. We have accomplished that. Okay, the next thing I have is a 5-year annual plan. Our 5-year annual plan, and believe me, I work on this for months. This is our 5-year annual plan. Our 5-year annual plan is for 2006 up to 2030. That is something that has to be done. If HUD comes in our office and this is not completed, we get it approved. This is approved. We won't have to get it approved till 2030, but we did get it approved from 2026 to 2030. Okay? So if HUD walks in our office and say, hey, I need to see this plan, I need to make sure that they approved it, so they know we have it, okay? But if they come in our office, they want to see this. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that we have a lot that we put together, and we want to make sure that you see it. And anytime that anyone wants to see our plan or our annual plan or admit plan, they're more than welcome to stop by our office and see it. The next thing that we have to do is called the CMAP. The CMAP report is a HUD grading rule. They grade us, okay? They ask us to submit things such as our income, our annual income, inspections. They want to see that, re-examination, everything that we do, and we have to submit all that information to them. This is our CMAP submission. Every year, HUD sends it to us and tells us if we pass. And every year, we pass, okay? We do pass. And that is great for us because we don't want to fail anything. Okay, the next thing I have that I would like to show you is our utility allowance. Every October, the Section 8 program has to do an update on utility allowance, okay? That's by, say, Martinville, Parks, Cecilia, all the water, lights. We have to calculate that because we give our tenants a deduction. And that is completed also. And that was submitted to HUD, and everything was approved. So we have accomplished that also. So I just feel that we're accomplishing a lot with the Section 8 program. We are helping our tenants. And the last thing is our 2026 payment standard. Every year you have to change your payment standard with the Section 8 program. And we have completed that, and we did submit it to HUD, and it was approved. So that is done. So I just feel that we accomplished a lot with the Section 8 program. We're doing great. We did all of our reports. We submitted all our reports to HUD, and HUD has successfully said that we are in compliance and that we're meeting all the rules and regulations. We also had an audit by Mr. Chip Murray, and that was successfully passed. Our audit also with Ms. Trish Hammond, which is our fee accountant for the Section 8 program, and that no finding. So we are very pleased with our Section 8 program. Also, we have basically, we partnership with Shea Hope, the Sheriff Department, and also the Veterans Affairs to make sure that we help all the tenants in our area. We are working hard to try to get everything done. Last but not least, I have Ms. Rose here. And Ms. Rose, can you stand just for a second? And I just want to introduce Ms. Rose. Ms. Rose Vills is someone that has been working with us real hard for the people, the homeless. Ms. Rose, can I get you to come up here for a second? Okay, Ms. Rose has been working hard with the homeless families in our area, and we have been working with her to try to get people in, the families in our jurisdiction, to get them housed as quickly as we can. Even though we are at 90% right now, we are not at 100% of our vouchers. And one of the things that I want to bring to your attention is we won't lose our vouchers right now, okay? But we house families and we go according to our budget. So I can't exceed, if HUD is setting us $88,000, I can't exceed that amount because I don't want to go over budget. So we will not use all those vouchers. But at this point, we're not losing those vouchers. So what we're doing is when a family, 1 or 2 family gets off of the program, we put 1 or 2 families back on the program. Okay, that's the way we're doing it right now until HUD starts funding us again at 100%. I think, Mr. Sean, that we're okay. We're on target with the amount of money that we're doing. So our goal is just to stay within budget. We don't want to exceed our budget. Ms. Rose, was there something that would you like to say, Ms. Rose, because with your program or?
My name is Rose Vills. I cover 7 parishes here in the Region 4 area, and for over 5+ years, Ms. Tyler, Ms. Sylvia, we have been able to house, I cannot count the number of families because we continue to give out the applications. Myself and a group of individuals that I work with, from mental health to the insurance, they all know about the program. We continue to give out applications. We encourage those families who are not just homeless but are seeking shelter to apply for the Section 8 program. I just had a few of them take applications today. Ms. Jennifer has come on May the 8th and presented and told many more other organizations about the work that we do here. St. Martin Parish is the only parish that is out here that is open and continuously taking applications. From our first parent that we moved out of a car with 5 children living in New Iberia up until currently, just housed, I think it was about 3 more, and the process goes on and on. My phone doesn't stop ringing. With Ms. Jennifer and Ms. Sylvia, we continue to make sure that all of our families are housed. We have the homeless, as she mentioned, we have the veterans. We have a lot of parents who do not have any type of income, so we encourage them to get working so they can apply for this program. But this program here, it is very much amazing. I am a resident of St. Martin Parish, so I encourage a lot of our families to come this way. I educate them and reinforce some of the same rules and regulations that Section 8 offers, and I go through the application process with it. We keep in touch, me and Ms. Jennifer, through email, through phone, through text, go to the office and we meet. We always just encourage those parents, apply for the program. So thank y'all so much.
Even on Saturday and Sundays. But thank you. And we're working. But I just want to say that we are very pleased with the Section 8 program. I feel that we're housing family in our jurisdiction. And even though it's a little bit less funding, that we are still accomplishing a lot for St. Martin Parish. Any questions?
Mr. Louvier.
She answered it. I had wanted to know the percentage of housing that was occupied, but she answered it.
Okay, Ms. Narcisse?
Ms. Rose, organization you represent?
I have my own nonprofit. It's called Kind Hearts Community Outreach, but I also am a kinship outreach connector coordinator for the Extra Mile. So we are bringing those resources from the Extra Mile to this area here because I work closely with the court systems in this parish as well, with fins and things like that, and with the schools. So it's that organization. I wear a few hats.
You look familiar.
And she bring them all to us.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Section 8, I need some, Section 8, is it not for working families?
Yes, it is for working families. It is. We have people that are working.
How do homeless qualify?
How homeless families, homeless, they qualify. It's for working family and homeless. You can, as long as you have enough funding to put your utilities on, okay, we will pay you rent. You have to be able to pay for utilities. Not a lot of our clients, I want to say maybe 5% of our clients, there are people like Miss Rose and other organizations such as Smile, and other organizations that will pay their light, their gas, and their water.
So they don't have to have an income, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
They don't have to have.
No, they don't have to have an income. No, ma'am. No. And you know what's the thing, the new rules, the new HOPPA rules? We can house them as long as they can show us that they can put the water, lights, and gas, and they can maintain it. We're gonna house them.
And by showing that's with a what, notarized letter?
A notarized letter, that's right, Tange. You could have a notarized letter saying that somebody's helping you, your mom's helping you $650 a month, okay? And she's gonna help you pay your water, your lights, and your gas, okay? And then we will help them pay their landlord. Now, one thing I need you to understand is with HUD, one of the rules is the lights, your utilities, cannot be off for more than 24 hours or you lose your voucher. So if the lights go, if your lights is disconnected for 24 hours, you will lose your voucher. And we make that perfectly clear to them, okay? We can pay your landlord, but you have to keep your water, your lights, and your gas on.
Okay. Taking application process. When you said you're still taking applications?
Yes, we are.
When you're taking applications, they get, what's the step after that? It's just the application is good for how long?
No, your application is good for, if it's 5, 10 years, it
it's no
doesn't
date.
matter. That's
It's just
correct.
updated.
That is correct.
When you
It's
meet with them.
updated. And you get on our waiting list.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a waiting list. The application is taken, and then you get on a waiting list. Okay? And then as the vouchers become available, then we call you in if you still qualify.
My next question, in regards to the parish and the city vouchers, the transfers, they might have another name for it, but I'm gonna call it a transfer.
Portability.
Somebody has a
Portability.
city voucher.
Okay.
And they wanna move to they wanna move outside the city limits in a parish.
Okay.
Do y'all transfer, do y'all port, how is that done?
What happened is the city of St. Martinville, we have a cooperative agreement.
But even if it's,
Yeah.
Bridge is the parish.
Yeah, we have a cooperative agreement with the city of St. Martinville.
Okay.
If they have a voucher, which they have 41 vouchers right now, okay, and if that person wants to port out into our parish, she does not need, Constance does not need to come to me and say, I want this person to port to you. Because we are St. Martin Parish, we do the whole parish. So if she wants that person to go outside outside of St. Martinville, they can go outside of St. Martinville on her voucher, not on ours.
They don't have to stay in the city.
They do not have to stay in the city limits, no.
So do they have to have a clearance on that voucher?
No,
With
we
the
do.
current landlord?
The landlord is 30 days. You have to give your landlord 30-day notice.
And what about
That is,
What about a final inspection?
final inspection, clarify that for me when you say a final inspection.
Let's say before they move, I'm gonna say from the city to within the parish. Who does an inspection to make sure they're in good standing with their current landlord?
The landlord has to call the Section 8 housing, let them know that they want a final inspection, okay? And then when the landlord calls, they have to, we would go in, I'm gonna use us as an example, we would go in and we would do inspection of the unit. If there's any damage to the unit that the landlord is indicating that there's damage, we ask them to put that in writing and how much it's going to cost. That tenant cannot move to another landlord until they pay that landlord for all that damage. Now, again, this is how we operate. I can't speak for any other housing authority, but I can only speak for our housing authority. One of the things is that we do not, and that's in our administrative plan, that's why they ask every housing authority to have an administrative plan. And our administrative plan, you cannot move from a landlord without giving them a 30-day notice. That is a violation. You have to give that landlord 30-day notice. And when they come to our office, it's 45 days for us and 30 days for the landlord. 45 days to notify us, because we want to send that landlord a letter indicating that your tenant is moving out of your unit. We have to give that landlord that 30-day notice. You can't come on the 1st and expect to move for the 1st. You have to come to us before that, 45 days first, and then we will send the landlord a notice telling him that his tenant is moving out of the unit. The majority of our landlord will call us and ask us, will tell us, hey, that person left my unit clean, there's no problem. They can have back their deposit. But if there's an issue, that landlord will send us pictures, send us a bill, and then tell us, this tenant owes me this amount of money. Then that tenant is brought back into our office and will explain to that tenant, you owe X amount of dollars to this landlord. We cannot issue you another voucher until you take care of this with the landlord. But again, this is the way we operate. I can't speak for any other.
I'm asking you to speak
Yes.
on the parish side. So my
Yes.
question is with just you and Miss Sylvia, with all the administrative duties you was just explaining and all
Yes,
these,
ma'am.
I mean, I'm looking at her like a little bully or something. With all the expectations and then having to serve the
Yes.
clients, I'm gonna call y'all enough people?
Tangie, we never enough people, but the thing of it is, we work on Saturday. I know I work on Saturday and Sunday. Miss Sylvia gets witness roles and a lot of other people. My thing of it is, we lost an inspector, okay? Where is he? Mr. Ronald not in here. We lost Mr. Chief Ronald. Yeah, you know, Chief, yeah. We had him as the inspector. And he was not, and he's no longer our inspector. So our thing is that we have to do it. We're gonna do our job. Ms. Sylvia and I love what we do. Okay, so we right now, Mr. Pete, we do have a little summer worker, but you know, if we would have another person in our office, that would be fine. Okay, but yes, we have a lot. We do. We work hard, but we enjoy it. Can I say that? We work hard, but we enjoy it because I'm a servant. I'm a servant for the public, and we work hard and we enjoy every moment of it.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
I'm good, thank you.
Jean-Baptiste?
I really just want to commend you. I know the last time you did the presentation, Ms. Narcisse kind of grilled you about veterans, so to hear that you actually.
Yes, she did. You know, but that was
No, but
that
the thing
was-
about it though is the fact that y'all jumped on it and y'all addressed
Thank
it and
you.
y'all are taking care of our veterans. So that's a
Thank
big
you.
thing.
Thank you.
So I know you kind of slipped that.
You are very, very welcome. I just
No, thank y'all.
welcome.
Incorporating the veterans, and I know y'all hadn't forgot about them, but just with all these bully threats from HUD, you know, things got overlooked. So no, thank y'all very much. Thank
You
y'all
are
for your-
very welcome because you mentioned it. I looked into it. I investigate, and we did our job.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Also, you know, doing more for the homeless, you know.
Yes.
That's a good thing because as we're improving the parish side and within the city, we definitely want to make sure our residents can receive some housing. So I really commend y'all on that.
Thank you.
One other question. I know you said that we're only using like 90% of the vouchers and we just had a funding decrease to 88%. What's our like average of how many vouchers do we actually have out? I know we're still taking, but our funding is kind of capped and then we have to look at landlord want increase. So how many?
Yes,
are
ma'am.
actually
We have a
servicing?
total of 346 vouchers. Right now, we are at about 290, I want to say. And again, right now, HUD is reassuring us because the funding is not there, they will not take away our vouchers. Okay. But as soon as the fundings become available, we were almost at 95%. I mean, we were really doing what we needed to do. But until HUD start funding us and we don't want to get over budget, we have to do this. But again, they reassured us that we will not be losing our vouchers.
Okay. And then is there a process for the landlords to increase the rental rate, or can they just arbitrarily do that?
No, Ms. Betty, this is what they have to do. A landlord, we have what is called re-exam. Every tenant has to do with is a yearly re-exam. Before that tenant, you have 3 months before their yearly re-exam to ask for a rent increase.
Okay.
Then you have to get that tenant, the landlord has to get that tenant to sign the letter saying they accept it.
Okay.
And then I have to put it in the budget to make sure. So we don't give more than $100 increase. Okay, so if a landlord comes and say, I want $200-300, we can't afford it. Okay, but if a landlord comes in and say, I want $80 to $100, within that 3 month, the budget, HUD, the money that HUD is sending in, I could go ahead and add it in there and see and maintain it and say that's fine. And then
Now, does that increase the amount that the resident have to pay as well?
the majority of the time that the landlord is asking for an increase is us that has to pay it.
Okay.
Well,
Because they on the same income. They have that same income. So it's not like their income is changing. So it's going to be our responsibility to take care of that increase. That's why we asked the landlord to do it at least 3 months before their re-exam date, so that way we could calculate it into the figure to make sure we could afford it.
Okay.
Okay?
Ms. Tyler, you said earlier that it went from 100,000 to 88,000. Was it 100% to 88% on the peak?
No, what it
Or
did
is it
is, and
actually-
Sean is right here, he can make sure I'm saying it correctly. And they had went to, they was giving us 100,000, and then now they're giving us about 88,000.
And that's for a year?
And that, no, sir, that is a month.
Per month, okay.
Yeah, no, sir, that is per month. Oh, we wouldn't be able to survive, we wouldn't be able to survive. We would not be able to survive. No, that's a month, a month.
So we have extra vouchers there, from what I'm understanding, but we can't administer more vouchers until we get more funding.
That is correct, because I'm trying to stay within a budget. If I
So-
don't stay within the budget, Sean is going to catch a fit.
Okay, and did your landlords, did you have some increases this year from the landlords?
Oh, yeah, I had some increases, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the landlords, and I could truly understand that, because the prices of wood,
Oh, yeah, material.
the prices of material went up. And, and things break. A landlord, an air conditioned unit, and with the new Inspire rules and regulations, they are asking the landlord to do more.
So like the landlords, like an ice box, washer, dryer, those,
Washer dryer is not recommended. You don't have to. That's not mandatory.
Just
But
stove, ice box?
stove and refrigerator, yes.
and I'm sure the AC.
Yeah, AC, yes.
Okay.
And one of the new rules that they have, now the landlord has to have screens on the window. That they never used to have before. The new Inspire rule is mandatory. And they're saying that the reason they want the landlords to do that is because if you are low income and you can't afford to run that AC all the time, they want them to be able to raise up those windows and they can catch the fresh air. So yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes, sir.
I have two questions, but I think one will do.
Yes.
Are the landlords required to submit a certificate of insurance and list Section 8 on it, or how?
Our landlords, and that's in our administrative plan, we don't have the landlords have to show us that they own the property, okay? And that they own the unit. But that's in our administrative plan. Every housing authority does not want it to be done that way, but we do. The reason is because we can't have a landlord owning property and then his son or daughter or a friend own the unit. And I'm going to use that, for example, as a trailer. Because if the landlord owns the property and we paying the landlord for the unit, and then all of us, well, let me reverse that. If the landlord owns the trailer and someone owns the property, and then they get into an argument between themselves, the landlord and the son, the landlord and the daughter, then they don't want the tenant to get on the property. They can do that. So that puts us in a bind because now our tenant can't go to that unit. So we, in our administrative plan, St. Martin Parish administrative plan, we have that the landlord has to own the unit and the property, which makes a lot of sense.
Mr.
You have
Delco,
a waiting list?
one more question.
Waiting list. Waiting list. Miss Sylvia, do we have a waiting list, Miss Sylvia? Whoa, we are housing as fast as we get 2 people off the program or 3, we putting 2 and 3 on. Like Miss Rose said, one of the things that I must say is St. Martin Parish, we house people. We don't have them like these other housing authority that have them on the waiting list for what, Miss Rose, 5 years, 10 years? We are housing people as quickly as we can. I think the last, it's maybe 3 months, Miss Sylvia, that we have, maybe a waiting list, 3 months? 3 months, that's the most, sir. We're housing them quickly.
How about landlords? Are you having trouble with getting landlords? No?
No, I am not.
Rentals and
No, I am not. The landlords in our area, they like the idea that if you, the Section 8 program, they have to follow guidelines if you're a tenant. And they know that they can call our office and they submit a letter to us and then we submit a letter to the tenant. Tell them if they're breaking any rules, such as if a tenant owes a landlord rent and is there on their 2nd month, that's a violation. So they don't want to lose that voucher, so they go pay their landlord.
Mr. Delcom,
I just want to thank you very much for everything
Thank
you do.
you.
You know, we're here for your support and you know, you've not only shown you didn't have to come in up here to say it, but I see it, you know, and I see it in your reports. I see it in the reports that I sign off for you. Ms. Sylvia, thank you very much. You know, the unheard hero, you know, you're the backbone of the backbone of the, and y'all complement each other, you know, and I've seen that happen. So I'm very, very pleased with our Section 8 program. And, you know, you can get up there and blow smoke and say this and that, but your numbers prove it. You know, so y'all are working diligently. Ms. Rose, thank you so much for your intervention. You know, it's for the good of the people, and y'all certainly are doing St. Martin Parish a very good job and service. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you. But we have the support from the council member, we have support from you, and we thank you so much.
thank you, Ms. Jennifer.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Jean-Marie, did you have something else? Okay, I was just checking.
And again, anyone that wants to look at these books, more than welcome to.
Item 3, Wilbert Ledet Jr., founder-president of Ledet Legacy Foundation, LLC, to propose a resolution about his family business landmark site in Parks, Louisiana.
Mr. Lede?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I must say, I'm very appreciative that y'all invited me back because I have some clarification that need to be made to make sure that we're on the same page. And like I said before, this is about my family history. And I'll explain to you certain things before we get to the main ingredients of my proposal. First of all, the Ledet Legacy Foundation is housed in my nightclub. My club is not running as a regular nightclub, okay? The last time I was questioned about my Louisiana marker. The Louisiana marker is on the parish line and the state line. It is not in the front of the facility. I had to clarify that. Again, like I said before, I have been working on this project for over 10 years. During COVID-19, I almost lost my life because I overlooked my sugar level. I ended up in Lafayette General. And the doctor told me, you stress out. What are you doing like that? And I explained to him. And I had all the symptoms in the world. Noticed that my body was shutting down. But like I said before, I'm on a mission for my late parents because they build. I'm going to read the story for you before we get to this. They build this underprivileged and undeveloped community with their businesses. They didn't have to do all that. That's why I'm very concerned. And you know, it's not easy to get a Louisiana marker. The narrative. I have to research. You need to do this. You need to do that from the LSU committee. I didn't have no problem with that because I'm a retired teacher and coach. I love to research. Just let me read this before we get to the point. That's my narrative. The story and glory about Promised Land community. In the 1800s, a white farmer named John Dugas owned this land. African American who built this community in the 1950s were people who worshiped the Bible. In the 1950s, if you notice, the era, Promised Land community was adopted by the resident. In the 1950s, Ledette Bar, dance hall, and grocery store was developed by Wilbert Ledette Sr., a veteran sergeant of World War II, and Mildred Charles Ledette. The family businesses provide the necessity of those living in the community. It was classified as a site for social entertainment and grocery shopping. The dance hall features many great musical artists, such as Clifton Cheyenne, Rockin' Doopsie, Barbara Lynn, Patrick Henry, Corey Little Pop Ledette, J. Paul Jr., Roy Anthony, Tucker, Oscar Noisy Sr., and the Dewdrop, Furnace and the Thunders. From the 1970s through the 1990s, Ledette Bar, dance hall, and grocery store had numerous renovations. By 1993, the facility was officially named Peabody's Club Valentine, owned and operated by Coach Wilbert Peabody Ledette Jr. Peabody Club Valentine is currently used as a multi-purpose club for meetings, dances, concerts, parties, and festivals. I worked on this, I told you, 10 years, and the narrative was approved. It was a Russian roulette situation, but I did it on behalf of my late parents. I lost my daddy when I was 13 years old. He didn't have to do all this. He even had a 2-gas pump. What I'm telling here, this is one of the oldest and the first family business site landmark in St. Martin Parish. We have to acknowledge that. Or we should. And I told a couple of people, this is not a political campaign. This is about contribution through history. Yeah, I get tired. But I want to see the reality before the good Lord called me upon. If you was in my shoe, you would feel the same way. Because I had to see my parents sacrificing. My mother gave so much credit, and you can check the clerk courthouse, until Wilbur Ledette Sr. estate was going up for sheriff's sale. Go check in the courthouse. Mama gave so much credit. Thank God for my late sister Mary Lou and I. We saved the property. I just came out of college. My little check was no more than $1,500 a month. And I was dating a young lady from Cade, Louisiana. And I can recall when the mother told me, okay, coach, you got a job, You got an income? If you don't marry my daughter, I'll come back. And I told her, I have to sacrifice for my family business. So, you know, a lot of time people say things, but you got to be in the situation to understand the situation. Now, I'm going to give you, and then I'll get to the point with the Ledette Legacy Foundation. The Louisiana Senate resolution by Senator Blake McGass, District 22. Okay. A resolution to commend, congratulate, and recognize Peabody Club Valentine as a historical cornerstone in St. Martin Parish, and to acknowledge nearly 70 years of cultural, social, and community significance. Whereas Peabody's Club Valentine stand as a historical cornerstone in St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, serving the community for nearly 70 years as a vibrant gathering place for music, celebration, and fellowship. And whereas the establishment first opened its door in 1952 as a local grocery store before becoming a full-time nightclub in 1955, making significant transformation and shaping the cultural life of the people in Promised Land, whereas Peabody's Club Valentine operated continue in the 1950 era, making it one of the oldest Black-owned family business in St. Martin Parish and the first Black family business landmark site still in operation since the era. And whereas the Ledette family presented this legacy across generation with current proprietor Wilbur Ledette Jr., carrying forward the vision, stewardship, and the community spirit that have defined the establishment for decades. And whereas the club long served as more than a dance hall, functioning as a multi-purpose community space for event, meeting, parties, festival, countless shared moments that have strengthened cultural identity and social connection in the region. Whereas Peabody Club Valentine, widely recognized as cultural historical landmark whose impact the longevity embodied resilience, creativity, and entrepreneur excellence of Black families in the rural Louisiana. Therefore, before it resolved, the people of Peabody's Club Valentine located at 5338 West Rubber Highway 347, St. Martinville, Louisiana, in the heart of Promised Land community, hereby commend, congratulate, and recognize the site of the historical, cultural, significant, and hereby honor with a historical marker in the recognition of his endurance contribution to St. Martin Parish and to the state of Louisiana. Before it resolved that this landmark is commemorated so that the present and the future generation may continue to honor its history, celebrate its influence, and remember the Ledette's lasting commitment to the community of culture and sharing cultural heritage. I help Senator Blake McGuire with this, to submit this to the Louisiana Senate, Secretary of State. Provide this information. When I asked him to do it, it took a week. Because what happened is that I told him my story. And I felt I didn't do my job the way I should have, because nowhere in the world, because of this cultural situation. There is no 1950 businesses in that era is operating. That's history in St. Martin Parish. Somehow when I received that Louisiana marker, somebody on the council should have contacted me. Let's do something about it. Like I said before, this is not no political game. I'm asking for justice of equality for my family business through grants. We lost a grant, $100,000, a federal grant. What happened? When Trump administration got rid of the federal workers, DEI, you know what it is. We lost the grant. Good thing that for St. Landry Parish, Harmon Fusilier, for Slim Waikiki, they made it just in time to get their $100,000. Like I said before, I will fulfill my dream. I almost lost my life behind this project. Now you know what's going on in St. Martin Parish. I'm not worrying about just other parishes. Now here you got one family land business site, black or white, but a Louisiana marker. And this St. Martin Parish government have never recognized it. Yes, I'm disturbed behind it. Because I never forget, when Sidney May, I helped her, got elected. She came to me when the 911 for the ambulance service. Said, my friend PBD, how you want to name that street next to that club? I said, well, you know, when you go back there, let that dry, because all you go way back there is my family. He said, no. We're going to put it on the map. We're going to name it Palmer's Lane Drive. Now it tells you she was concerned. Yes, I'm very upset, but I can maintain my pause. Don't return to no violent situation, because God controls all that. At least Blake McGrath stepped to the plate. We had to submit through the state of Louisiana, when we got chartered the Debt Legacy Foundation, letter of purpose. To whom it may concern, the purpose of this nonprofit corporation operating under the name the Debt Legacy Foundation will serve as a destination for the descendant of the original settler of Promised Land in Parks, Louisiana, to combine effort into rebuilding economic and cultural tourism. Local community members, as well as the surrounding area, will organize fundraisers to rejuvenate this community and focus building and future expansion. Fundraising, whether that will come from raffles or other fundraising campaign. Possible federal and state grants are right now in research to fund this foundation. When renovations are completed, the foundation will give this facility toward event rental that would promote local, cultural, political, and religious expansion. If you have any information concerning this, you may contact them and we charter them. And like I said before, I'm proposing for St. Martin Parish to come up with a resolution as compared to Blake. I'm not threatening you, I'm asking you. What is the purpose? In order for grant opportunity. I'm sure if you have a resolution, because like I said, when I leave here, I always report to my grant writer and my legal advisor. If you have a resolution for the Ledet Foundation, through the parish government, we can seek grants. Because you know, Louisiana, tax revenue is great on tourism. Yes, I'm very upset because I almost lost my life working on that project. I thought about Sydney me. I know, just like she stepped to the plate for that 911, she would have stepped to the plate when I received that Louisiana marker, that narrative. And you know, everything you put on there, it has to be researched by LSU Educational Committee. How many times they return my information telling me 5 times, you need to do this, you need to do that. So yes, I come before you and asking you, I'm in District 3, my business, of St. Martin Parish government. I'm asking you on behalf of the Ledet Foundation for you to develop a resolution for this historical, significant achievement project. It would only increase our opportunity where maybe you can help us get grants. Look around what's going on in St. Martin Parish. You got just the Evangeline Oak, you come see, gravesite Evangeline. St. Martin the tour, why they come there, you know, St. Martin the tour was built by the slaves. You know that. And can you imagine the site? What kind of money could come for tourism in this area because of my project, my family project? It's about increasing tax revenue. And you know Louisiana, it's a tourist attraction place. So I'm just asking you. And once you develop that resolution, hopefully you will, I'll ask you on behalf of my family members or the Ledet Legacy Foundation to try to seek grants to accommodate this foundation so it can become a tourist attraction.
Thank you, Mr. Lede. Ms. Narcisse, you have a question?
I do have a question. So you standing here and you're saying you want a resolution so you can apply for grants to make it a tourism attraction. So my question to you is, what's the plan of tourism? How are you going to increase tourism? What are you going to do in that area?
Well, the
to
thing
bring
is
tourism?
that I stated we're gonna renovate. Like I said, right now,
Renovate in which direction?
what you
Be
mean?
clear when you speak. Which direction you're going to renovate?
Well, the thing is, it's gonna bring revenues.
No. How are you going to bring revenue?
How I'm gonna do that? I stayed in the foundation. Fundraisers. We still have our festivals going on.
That's
Yes. No, what it is that once you renovate this building, if you have ever been in my place and come to tourists, in each section right now, on that right section, that's a section showing you where the private lounge was. Then you go further down toward the restroom. You had a gambling hall here. The other side, the section, the dance hall. Right adjacent from the dance hall, you had the grocery store. When the grocery store ran out of business with my mama, she turned it to a teenage center. And you still have the 2 landscape in the front where you had 2 gas pumps. What it is that the bottom line is that I can't do nothing until I get grants to situate it the way this place used to look. And you know it costs. That's why we're seeking grants. And keep in mind, once they come in St. Martin Parish, they're gonna stop in places and buy items. It's tourism. The bottom line is, we seeking grants. I can't do nothing without grants. I spent, personally, if I had my booklet with me right now, when I started working on the project, I used my personal money, fundraising, festival, Louisiana Detective Corps. Not too long ago, I had my 22nd Louisiana School Employee Appreciation Party. That's all my money. But what it is that I'm still promoting my culture. I spent an estimation in 10 years out of my pocket, $150,000. That's dedication. Now, you asked a good question. The same thing with I'm going to say Landry Parish, because when Herman Fuselier was here, he's working for Daily Advertiser, the music department. Herman Fuselier, the one that helped me started the project. Herman Fuselier, right now, he said Landry Parish commissioner now. And what happened? They didn't have funds for Slim Waikiki when they closed down. But that federal grant helped. And in the meantime, St. Landry Parish government seek grants to help them finance that building. What I'm reporting to you is similarity from St. Landry Parish government.
So you want us, so you would like us to be able to mimic St. Landry Parish because Herman Fuselier and Slim Kiki and whoever and this and that. And it may be, if it was possible, it could have possibly been delivered if it was possible. But you didn't come correct.
Okay. Like I said before, there's a lot of things I should have done, I didn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been disrespectful.
But like I said before, I almost lost my life.
Yeah, we all
because of my sugar level over stressing myself.
Yes.
So like I said, I am not faulting. If you listen to what I said, I am not faulting just the parish government.
I want to listen to you apologize. That's what I want to listen to.
I'm not faulting everything I said to myself. I lagged, I felt sick working on that project. I'm not putting everything on St. Martin Parish government. I'm not. I even share with you how, don't get angry with me either, how Sidney May was dedicated to my district for that 911. And my Louisiana marker, when I made history, I invited the community, it was on the TV, and it was on the newspaper. That's why I felt St. Martin Parish government should have reached out to me. I don't have to apologize for nothing. I'm just telling you how I feel. I'm not disrespecting nobody. I'm telling you what I feel. I am not cursing you out. I'm telling you how I felt. I didn't make it like a racial situation because we all need one another. We're all in this together.
St. Martin Parish government has worked
and like I said before,
created a tourism.
Like I said before, I don't get personal when it comes to business. Because, I can explain some situations to people that I approach about my project. But I'm not going to I ain't calling names. I'm just asking for moral support. I can call some names now and say what they told me. I don't throw stone for stone. That's not my bag.
But Mr. Lee,
I've always said, never burn a bridge that you may have to cross again. All I'm asking for St. Martin Parish government to develop a resolution as compared to Senator Blake McGuire and see if the resolution through your government can find grants to accommodate the Ledette Leslie Foundation. That's all I'm asking. No more than that.
Mr. Lee, thank you for coming and explaining that to us, and the council is gonna definitely take into consideration what you're asking for. We like, thank you for coming and explaining that to us and everything today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Y'all keep doing the good work, okay?
Thank you.
Consider the adoption of an ordinance reducing the speed limit to 30 miles per hour on Wilfred Champagne Road located in District 4. Consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for a grant under 49 CFR 5311 Formula Grant for Rural Areas.
This is something that we do annually.
Consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing the parish president to execute the entity-state agreement with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for T. Adam Guidry Road over Cooley State Project Number H.015508 and Huval Street over True Canal, State Project Number H.015509.
Mr. Delkin, you wish to discuss it?
On a project that has been ongoing, and this is the ending of the process, hopefully, that we can get this thing finalized.
Which district is this in, you know? That's yours, huh? Okay. I think so.
Consider appointments, reappointments to various committees. Parish President's report.
Mr. Delcom?
And we have the various projects, Cypress Bayou, the Coulée La Salle has been taken off of the listing because there's not enough funding. Cypress Bayou is continuing. They're in the process of introducing land rights and doing permitting on the projects. Alcide Bonin Road Canal, again, this has been in the making. The benefit cost analysis has been presented to FEMA, and we're waiting on their response. Petroleum Parkway, in the process, 7, 8, and 9, we're in the process of the drainage project. The culvert was installed, and we're working between rains, hoping to get this portion of the project completed before the end of June. Joe Dade Canal, which is down Highway 96, is the beginning of it, is complete and within the process of substantial completion. You can see the 2025 sales tax one road improvements. Chess Broussard complete, Burton Olivier complete, Boone La Sagne complete. They are presently on Bayou Fusilier laying asphalt, and you can see the roads that are up and coming. Babineau Road, Guidry Drive, Oak Lake Drive, and Tiger Lane. Basically, they have about 2.5 miles remaining of roads. Some of these projects are no more than 1 to 2 day projects. And the engineers and the contractor has assured that given the rain, once that lets up, that they'll be able to take care of these projects in hand. LA 96 Detour Road, this is in Catahoula, past the church. The construction on the culvert has been completed. The road has been reopened, and they're cleaning up everything, again, pending weather. Boxcar Road, substantial completion has been filed. There's a 45-day lien period. The water consolidation project. Water well 1 has been completed and is been running for about a week. They want to run it about 3 weeks to make sure that it is up and running with no complications before starting on water well number 2. Water well number 2 should be started after 3 weeks from now. That project should be completed by the 3rd to 4th week in August. A 4-week test will then be taken after that. So we're looking at those 2 water well projects to be completed probably about mid to latter part of September. They have dug the test well. The preliminary report was good. We're waiting for the final report, which will be about 2 weeks out, and we can continue with that. Jail roof. There was a bid opening. More Core Roofing came in with a $290,000 bid. Phase 1, we will looking for approval of that to get started on that project. Jail sewage. I said that we had proactively went in. There was a mishap a few months back in which sewer came down into one of the offices. We have taken a proactive step and changed out the majority of that horizontal sewer pipe, and that is complete. We're in the process of getting funding for the lift station repairs that were done in the city of St. Martinville, and we're still looking at and getting bids on the catch basin that will hopefully alleviate and take care of all the trash that is going from the jail into this area of the St. Martinville sewer system. Annex building, we have sent off the contract to FP&C for approval. We're hoping for that to come in within the week. Once that is done, we can sign off on that and get the annex project started. In regards to the water consolidation, a couple of other items. We will be having a water board meeting next Tuesday, the 23rd, here in this office, just the monthly water board meeting. There will be a town hall meeting in Catahoula this Thursday, June 18th at 6 o'clock. This is just to go over and bring them up to date on the water project. Also, DOTD has been contacted. They will either give information so that that can be presented to the constituents, or they may even have a representative there to give a little bit added information to the Highway 96 road project. I'm pleased to announce Mr. Raymond Bernard, about a year ago, filed a grant process with the Public Service Commission, and we were awarded this Public Service Commission grant. There will be lighting projects done at various locations of St. Martin Parish government. CLECO will come in for their services, approximately $36,000. Entergy will come in approximately $149,000, a totaling of $750,000. Basically, what they will be doing is changing out lighting systems within the parish to LED, to where there will be normally the savings just changing these and updating these and upgrading these projects will probably be anywhere from a 30% to a 50% savings in energy use. I commend Mr. Raymond for getting into this and taking the bull by the horns with this. He had to do prior research on billings and so forth. We need to keep accurate records to be able to show the increase of savings due to the changing out of these facilities. Mr. Raymond will be on top of that. I'm very pleased that he's taken the initiative. The grant was provided, and we will be getting that taken care of in the very near future. Again, Mr. Raymond Bernard went up to Washington, D.C. last week. APC, with a number of parish presidents in the area, went to solicit to the legislators in Washington DC, the federal legislators, both senators and representatives, on various projects of this area. We were able to speak to the attendants and to the administrative directors of Senator Kennedy's office, Representative Mike Johnson. We were able to speak independently with Representative Letlow, and Mr. Raymond was able to speak personally with Mr. Higgins, Representative Higgins. Our main concern is the Highway 90 I-49 corridor, which floods pretty much annually now, and it has a direct effect on our Smeta Park. We're trying to get federal funding to be able to clean out that Coulee LaSalle Bayou, Cypress Bayou, all the way back into the Cypress Island swamp and get that water moving. It is, as described, not just a parish problem, but it is a regional problem, because this corridor is the main thoroughfare for emergency evac. Highway 90, you can either go to the east through New Orleans or to the west through Lafayette. And with hurricane seasons, when this thing is inundated, that inability to pass is going to have detrimental effects on our ability to do that. So we are looking at not just a regional direction, we're trying to get federal monies and actually contacting all of the legislators in this area, both senators and representatives, and also all of the parishes, St. Landry, Lafayette, St. Martin, Iberia, St. Mary, Terrebonne, all of the parishes in this southern region, Vermilion, that have effects on this evac corridor. We will be looking into that and moving forward with that project. I spoke to Ms. Jean-Baptiste before the meeting. We will be setting up a meeting with the Smeta commercial entities to give them an update as to what's going on. I will try and put onto the agenda next month to be able to come in and give some kind of PowerPoint presentation as to what was presented in Washington, and give you an outlook as to what we will be presenting to the entities in the commercial park, to show that we are actively looking to come up with a solution to that problem. It's a big problem, and the inundation of waters not only affect Highway 99, I-49, but our commercial Smeta Park. That being said, any questions on any of the projects or anything that I may have brought up?
Ms. Jean-Baptiste?
It's not a question, it's just to kind of add for the council's knowledge. Mr. Jelkum and I did recently speak about that in the parkway, in the industrial park. We just got notification, like one business, one of their tenants has already filed over almost $100,000 million in insurance claim due to the constant flooding. And so as a result of that, he's actually lost an occupant in his place of business. And so this is something, even though we've explained to him in one of the previous meetings that the way the road elevation is, the business is kind of in that dip, it's higher than it goes in. But we still want to try to do, as much as we can to try to alleviate some of that flooding. And so that's why this is going to be a major project, so that way we don't lose businesses in our parish.
Are there any retention, detention ponds inside the Smeta Park?
No, I know we kind of talked about that.
There is
we don't have
anything.
They built some
Narrow
ponds.
pit that had been dug before. This is in the, and has been approached and would be in the engineering in the event that we can do this project. That, along with possibly that borrow pit on 182. There's other areas that we're looking to. It has to be a pretty large borrow pit to be able to take on the waters that are coming through there, but that's in the engineering. We presently have Mr. Nick Saunier with Sellers and Associates and Mr. Garland Pennison that is under retainage with LCG. We did sit down with LCG about a year ago with Ms. Boulay and 6 of her engineers and public works in attendance. Being that geographically, a lot of the water that is being introduced into St. Martin Parish is coming from that Youngsville and Broussard area. And with all the development and so forth that has gone in those areas, that water is coming all the more quickly into our parish with the inability to get it into the Cypress Island swamp through all of that canal, that Coulee La Salle. So again, LCG is in attendance with LCG, with Mr. Garland Pennison, that's under their auspice. I have spoken to Ms. Boulay. She has been helping us in putting this together. And like I said, we've brought it to DC. Our next step is to bring it to the area legislators, bring it to the area parishes, bring it to Baton Rouge. We're starting to knock on doors and see if we can get this thing to fruition. It's a two-phase project, the way we're looking at it, that the engineers had said, probably a $40 million total project, 20 million of which would be in phase 1, in which will take care of the canals and the thoroughfares that will get the water out. And then the other portion of the project, possibly looking to DOTD to do something with that area of the road to be able to lift it. Again, it's a very intense project, but I really believe that if we take the stance of the EVAC and the inability to use that EVAC route, it's not just about St. Martin Parish, it's about South Louisiana. And I really believe that if we take that angle, a very legitimate angle, that we'll get federal funding and state funding to take care of the issues. See?
Yeah, in regards to the parish president's stuff.
Yes.
Any other questions from council? No? Whoever hits that button first is gonna talk. There you go. Ms. Narcisse.
Parish President, have we settled or did the NO agreement and all that good stuff for the roundabout for the lighting?
Yes, ma'am.
We did, we good.
Taken
Awesome,
care of, it's in the process of.
awesome. Another, for information, to the council and elected officials, the legislative committee of the Realtor of Acadiana Association would like to put on a meet and greet, a conversational piece in regards to permits and coding and sales and taxes and building and new tracks and all that good stuff in regards to St. Martin Parish. From my understanding, that was never done. They've kind of never met faces and all that good stuff. Would you guys be interested to attend?
Yeah.
And be a part of? Okay. Cool. I will. So, okay, I will follow up on that and with the Bro Bridge and, our surrounding areas and get a date. I had actually mentioned it to Parish President. He did offer, one of our buildings, we can meet and do the little thing. So I'll put that together this
You want to set it up, we can, maybe at the next committee meeting, we can update the council on what, if we can come up with a time and date to where we can do it.
Yes.
We got NACO coming up, so we might have to wait till maybe after that.
when we come back. Okay,
There
we
we
can do
go.
that. Okay, good enough. Thank you. That's it.
Mr. Louviere.
Mr. Delcom, I think I missed when you said the pre-construction meeting for the annex building was.
We're waiting for, it's been given to FP&C. Hopefully within the week, they will send it back with approval. We don't see any reason. Mr. Durio has, he took a look at the contract, saw nothing wrong, everything was good. We sent it to FP&C for approval. Being that $1 million of the project is coming from state funding, they have to approve everything. We're hoping to get it back within the week. Once that occurs, we can sign off on the contract and we can start the process.
Okay. That's it.
Council discussion or comment?
District 1? District 2?
Yeah. Mr. Jose kind of brought some bad luck upon us. Last Wednesday, our internet services in through Cajun Broadband was severely interrupted. Just to kind of share, The outage was caused by an underground boring mishap that severely cut a high-capacity 216-count fiber cable, which put pretty much everybody in that area without internet services for a little over, right around 24 hours. Cajun Broadband, I have to commend them. They had crews working throughout the night trying to rectify this. So again, just want the parish to be mindful when we have all of these other, vendors coming in. And I know we say we want competition, but when we have competition, this is the kind of sloppy work that gets done that impacts all the resources and investments we've already done. The communication was excellent. They texted us all through the night. They emailed us to let us know what was going on. But you had businesses without internet services for almost 24 hours. So that had a financial impact as well. Now, the services is also not going to be as strong because every time there's a splicing, that lessens the effectiveness of the internet services. So as we continue to get fiber around the parish, again, it's disheartening that District 2 is being used as the model, but we really need to be mindful as we move forward because you're going to start to get these types of issues that is not really pretty to deal with.
So, the first part you said, I wish you would have broken down a little bit. So when you said it was spliced, so that's like somebody else working
And it cut through the cable.
Okay.
And it's one of the bigger cables that was needed.
Oh, wow.
And it took them quite some time to figure out, where it happened.
Wow.
And whatnot. So they were able to rectify that. But again, that was almost 24 hours with residents not having internet services starting from the middle of the day till, early morning time the next day.
Those people with those children, oh my God.
Yeah, no alarm system, just the whole 9 yard. So again, I have to commend Cajun Broadband for their effectiveness in trying to jump on top of it as soon as they were able to identify the problem.
So the people that came and gave us a presentation at the last meeting with the Gumbo 2 round of money, I wonder, were they contacted about this?
Probably not. I mean, Cajun Broadband now, we're going on, but almost a year and a half, they're kind of
Took the bull by
used to people coming in and messing up, so they have a good mobile team they could get out in the middle of the night. They have the supply there to jump in and fix it once they can identify it. But this is the type of stuff he was talking about that they're trying to prevent as they move forward. The first round, it was just kind of a free-for-all.
So I wonder if it would probably be good for us to contact him, and maybe with the administration contact him and let them know there was an event where another line got cut, because, I mean, that's pretty much what their job is, to make sure that we don't have these experiences anymore.
Well, what I probably would do is just get with Cajun Broadband and give the information
them
to
the
Chris.
information, yeah.
And let Chris kind of deal with that, because at this point, it's not the parish's stuff, but
Right.
as a representative for District 2 and the parish, I want the community to know that we're trying to stay on top of all of this. So I'll pass the information on to Mr. Dishler.
It would give them the information that they have to just, let them know it's still going on, we're still having trouble.
We'll have to identify exactly, I don't think this project is a Gumbo 2 project. I mean, they have, and this is why we go through the letter of no objection, to where if there are servitudes that are available to these vendors, to come in and do business, we allow them to come in. But this is the reason why we are very strict with, you got to come in, you got to identify yourself, you have to be a viable business, you have to identify exactly where you're going to be working, whether it be overhead, whether it be in the ground. You have to make sure that all 811s have been identified, and even with that, at times there are mishaps. But the very reason why we go through the process of letter of no objection is to make sure. That was the problem that I had with Optimum. They were coming in and just going into areas of which they had not been given the right of no objection yet. And the reasons why we do it is that we need to make sure that we know who's in our parish, who they are, where they're working, what kind of work they're going to be doing, And this is what these letters of no objection does. Again, we try and stay on top of it because of those reasons. And I think with Royal Engineering coming in and proactively taking the first step in trying to avoid these issues, issues like this can be brought to their attention to where, look, in this area here, in this district, this is the problem that we had, this is the accident that we had. Why did it happen? And what can we do to not let it happen again? Or what can we do to not let it happen again in the other districts of St. Martin Parish? So I'm very pleased with Gumbo 2 and with their intervention. And I think we can take this accident and try and get something good out of it. Of course, the 24 hours of no internet is certainly nothing good to talk about, a cakewalk. But I think we can use this to make sure that future individuals coming into the parish, this is why we do it. I was getting kickback from Baton Rouge on Optimal. And it's like, I'm not backing down. They have to do exactly what everybody else does. And this is the reason why we do it. So a lot of times is, we get, well, look, we're trying to give y'all service. They're coming in here. They want to do the job. I don't have any problem with outside agencies and capitalism and other people coming in, but they have to adhere to the protocol of St. Martin Parish. And this is the reason why, for things like that. We need to know who's here, what they're doing, and we need to stay on top of it.
And maybe even in the future, have some tougher penalties for those that come into the parish and don't even tell us anything, and damage personal property, as well as the monies that we've invested through these governmental agreements with private vendors, so that it doesn't continue to trickle, because we do have quite a few people, corporations that come in and just disrespect us altogether, and think they can get away with that.
In that vein, we had an instance today, someone coming in and the company went through the process. They're laying down some lines. However, they were cutting across someone's yard to get to the next, and doing it habitually. Got a phone call, got in touch with the company. Hold on, you got this guy. But there again, we were able to identify where they're supposed to be and what they were doing, they were not supposed to be. So, and this is the reasons for the letter of no objection. Ms. Morgan goes into great detail to get detail as to what the companies can and can't do. So we'll just stay on top, continue to stay on top of it to make sure that we're protecting the parish of St. Martin.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
District 3. Nothing? District 4. District 6.
I'm good.
District 7.
One comment. I just wanted to provide a note that last Saturday, I attended the Lede family reunion at the Cape Community Center. And I didn't realize their family was that big. I thought the Alexander family was the largest family in St. Martin Parish. But they had over 150 people there. And I just wanted to mention that, but it was at the Cape Community Center in Cape last Saturday. That's it.
District 8. District 9. Good. On District 5, I just wanted to point out, I had a family that lived in my district that, in the Bridgetown area. And in 2016, their homes flooded. In 2019, we had another flood, and again in 20. So their house was flooded 3 different times. And we worked with them to try to help to get a home elevation program done. And Mr. Howard Lede, I'm sure many of you might know Mr. Howard. His wife worked for the school system for many years, and you're familiar with him. They called and invited me and asked me to go to their home because they were being presented $180,000 grant to do a home elevation on their house. There's also there's a total of 9 home elevations that are going to be done in St. Martin Parish through that program. So St. Martin Parish worked diligently to get that thing done, to stay on it, to stay on top of it, to keep pushing. And it's an experience I'll never forget, because let me tell you something. the most helpless I've ever felt in my life was when that water was coming into these people, to their homes. One thing I learned is no matter if it's 6 inches or 6 foot of water's water, do a lot of damage. And, I just want to commend those people for, for the parish and the people that were involved, and Sellers and Associates, they're the ones that worked for the grant and stuff, and we were able to get that. So it's one success story. There's many other homes that didn't qualify, maybe that hopefully in the future might, but I just wanted to share that with everyone.
But you did say there's some.
There's 9 total. There's nine total.
Finally, that's awesome.
Right, so,
Unfortunately, we had one family that moved.
exactly. We had a couple of families that moved.
Well, I know one moved to California.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Finally.
yeah, so finally after all this time, we seen some light. One other thing I received a few phone calls. Mr. Delcom, I was wondering if you could just kind of elaborate a little bit. We saw you did a TV interview about the sugar mill, and I had a few people that reached out to me and wanted to know, they were concerns were they thought we were finished with that, they were in compliance and everything was settled. But in the interview, you said that there was parish or local officials that were working to try to come up with I guess, a resolution, like trying to figure out how we're going to resolve the issue. But I thought the issue was resolved in the last meeting with the Senate, with Act Bill 219, with Senate Bill 502, pretty much put everything to rest.
Well,
So I was just wondering what,
the exact location as to where the bagasse will be brought, and any initiation, or if there will be from agriculture to decrease the size of the existing, timetables, things of that nature, to be able to pass on to the people as to what is going to be the eventuality of what's going on.
so can you tell us who you've been meeting, who you've had conversation with on?
We are to have conversation to be able to bring this information to the people that are being affected.
And that's what I'm just asking, which organizations have you been in contact with that we've been speaking? Because the council isn't aware, we thought this thing was settled and we were done. I'm just asking who you had been speaking to, if you could tell us, kind of share that information with us, to tell us what we're working on or what.
To be able to get the information to bring to the people, to tell them a time schedule. If you have information of the time schedule or to exact location, or the process that La Suca is going to be entering into, I'd be like to be made aware of that also, if that's your question.
No, I mean, I don't, my understanding is that,
Well, maybe there was some misunderstanding. I don't have the answers. I'm looking to get the answers.
all right, I thought maybe you had conversations after the fact that they were looking at reducing the size. Because my understanding of the Senate bill, the way that the verbiage was put in there, is that they're gonna have to follow the best management practices of the agriculture department. But I think those processes have to be rewritten and they're gonna decide. But my understanding is it's gonna stay right where it's at. It's never been discussed with any of us that they were gonna be moving it, or I guess that would be between Department of Agriculture and La Suca.
Exactly, and that's, again,
Right.
when that information is made available to be brought to the people so that we can see the plan moving forward as to where the bagasse will be relocated, the new bagasse being brought in, and if, in fact, best management practices will decrease the present bagasse situation to the number that's going to be put into the best management practice.
Have you reached out to La Suca to see if?
No, I have not,
answers
sir.
those questions?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Can any of that stuff be repurposed?
The whole process was supposed to be to open a telefactor to develop that for burning fuel and stuff, and, different things, but I mean, with the plant falling to, short, I think it shut down because of funding, but I think there is a operational plan to try to get it up and running, but till that process is there. I know we had talked about a plan with them about maybe trying to relocate the power to another area of the property, but then all those plans kind of went to the wayside once the Act 219 was filed and it was signed into law. The only thing they had with us was they were out of compliance on when we were considering it to be a solid waste, and now that it's no longer considered a solid waste, that pretty much alleviated the conditions with the parish. So the height of it and the restrictions and all, That can only be administered through the agriculture best management practice, which we don't have any authority over.
I had a constituent call me, message me during the week asking about that. He was actually played in a band a long time ago, and he said they used to repurpose the bagasse years ago to make soundproof boards. So I didn't know if that was still something.
I know they still use a good, 80% of it is used to refuel the
fuel the
boilers,
mill.
to fuel the mill.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Muy bueno.
Mr. Alexander?
I wanted to ask Mr. Delcom a question. Do, the sugar mill still planning to move or expand to LA 31?
I'm sorry, what was the question, sir?
The sugar mill that we're talking about right now.
Okay.
We had a meeting here where they was trying to move or expand to LA 31. Are they still working on that one?
Well, there are the sugar warehouses that are presently being built in back of the Martin Mills facility.
Okay.
There's two molasses tanks, huge molasses tanks that have also been built in back of the Martin Mills facility. They had original plans to do some construction on 31, but I think that was discontinued, and then they started with the bagasse transportation. As of now, I do not know or if they have any intention of doing any construction on Highway 31 or any of the properties that they have.
Well, there were three ladies that came here to argue against them going on 31 because they were complaining about.
That was about the bagasse.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, again, as Mr. Tozan averted to, there was a law that was passed that will give La Suca the ability to bring that bagasse to these locations and continue to use it. It would be under the heading of the Department of Agriculture, under best management practices. And so therefore, they will be structured and they will be under the umbrella of the Department of Agriculture.
Well, I was just wondering, to see, Mr. Thompson asked a question about it, and I'm still not clear about, I know it's about the bagasse, and you told me behind Martin Mill, but the lady was saying they were bringing it on 31 by their resident.
That was the bagasse that she was talking about.
Oh, it's the part over there?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was between St. Martinville and Parks.
That was about the
That's
bagasse.
between St. Martinville and Parks.
There was a conversation, Mr. Alexander, you might recall, that probably went on, I guess, about, that was in your first term here. That was probably 6 years ago. At one time, La Suca was looking at moving, maybe their housing development. They wanted to put something where the bagasse pile is. They wanted to do something, but then they ended up changing their plans, and that's when they bought Martin Mills, and they moved all that facility that they wanted to do. And then behind Martin Mills, I don't know if you saw it yet, but they're building two big sugar sheds, store sheds. They ended up moving that facility there. So at one time, there might be, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but they wanted to do a project off of 31, but they had to change their plans, and they ended up bringing it there when they were able to buy the Martin Mills facility.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Completed constituents' work order per request forms for May 2026 were emailed to you. Reports, statements of revenues and expenditures and balance sheet for May 2026 was submitted.
Meeting adjourned.